Why does the idea of the United States of Africa matter today? Africa stands at a turning point in history, a moment when possibilities stretch farther than the challenges, and when the dreams of generations past can finally be shaped into reality. For so long, the vision of a united Africa has lingered in the imagination of leaders, scholars, and ordinary citizens who dared to hope that a continent so rich in culture, talent, and natural wealth could one day rise together. Yet, for decades, this dream felt distant, held back by borders drawn without African voices, by disparities that seemed too deep, and by the fear that unity might require the sacrifice of identity. But now, something profound is shifting. The Africa of today is young, vibrant, restless, and ready. More than 1.3 billion people call this continent their home, and most of them are under the age of 30. They are students with limitless ambitions, innovations, and they're restless with new ideas, artists creating beauty that transcends borders, and everyday dreamers who look past the limitations of the present and see a future filled with promise. This rising generation is pushing against the old boundaries, geographical, political, and psychological, and asking a bold question. What would be possible if Africa chose to move forward together? The world is not as it once was. Regions across the globe are forming alliances and unions because they understand that strength comes from cooperation. Countries that were once isolated now depend on shared markets, shared security, and shared systems to survive and thrive in an interconnected world. Africa, with all its measurable wealth, its minerals, its forests, its fertile land, its creativity, its music, its stories, and above all, its people, has more to gain from unity than any other region on earth. Yet, for now, it remains divided into dozens of national markets, each trying to stand tall on its own. Unity does not mean uniformity. It does not mean dissolving the beauty of Africa's diversity. Instead, unity offers a frame strong enough to hold the riches and richness of every tribe, every language, every culture, and every nation. It creates a container where identities are not smothered, but protected, not erased, but celebrated. A united Africa allows Kenyans to remain Kenyan, Nigerians to remain Nigerian, Egyptians to remain Egyptian, while all of them also claim the deeper, broader identity of being African, a title rooted in pride, power, and shared destiny. This moment matters because Africa's future hinges on decisions made today. The world is changing fast. Technology is reshaping economies. Climate change is altering agriculture. Global powers are competing for influence. Nations everywhere are trying to secure their place in a rapidly shifting landscape. The question for Africa is this: will it navigate the future as dozens of separate nations competing against one another for markets, resources, and recognition, or as one rising force with a unified plan and a united voice? The dream of unity is more than political theory. It is a practical roadmap for survival and success. When nations pool their strengths, they multiply their potential. When young people see opportunities beyond their borders, they expand their dreams. When governments collaborate on trade, infrastructure, education, health, and security, prosperity flows more evenly across the continent. Africa stands at the threshold of possibility. Unity is no longer an abstract ideal wrapped in poetic longing. It is a realistic, achievable, beautifully necessary path forward. And it begins with a simple, powerful belief. Africa's brightest future will be built together. That is our first lecture. 17 more to go.